When it comes to financial independence, it can mean a lot of different things to a lot of different people, whether it is being completely debt-free, being able to go to school, getting ready for retirement, traveling and living the life of your dream. The financial independence is really reliant on how well you plan for it. So in today's video, I'm going to be going through the personal journey that I've experienced, and this is honestly something I wish I knew much younger age. But as of now, guys, going through the financial independent journey makes a really big difference with, of course, number one, developing a financial plan. Now, this is sitting down, really establishing guidelines of what is important to you. Now, this, of course, depends really on your age, where you are in life, exactly what you're looking for, but a financial plan will give you the ability to plan every aspect of your life. If you're more worried about saving and really paying down debt, if you're looking at traveling a lot more, how are you going to budget for that? What is the financial plan going to look like? If you want to live an extravagant lifestyle in a large home, if you want to live in an RV and travel the country, it is really up to you to develop that financial plan with you, your spouse, your partner. This will really do things in twofold, guys. Number one, you're going to know exactly the direction that you're headed. And for a majority of people, when it comes to the financial situation or really comes to the financial plan, a lot of it is missing. I do not see this at all. When we sat down, developed a financial plan, actually went through a counselor, sat down and figured out what was really important and what we wanted to focus on. Now, on the second side of developing that financial plan is you're going to be able to avoid or kind of predetermine pitfalls you could see on making sure that you're on track. It can really increase the level of confidence, resulting in a more beneficial approach, a lot more investing, and a lot more guidance to exactly where you want to go to. Number two, and this is of course super important, guys, sticking to the budget. Now, when I started budgeting, it took a long time. It was really kind of basic, got it down on paper. Now there is a lot of different budgeting apps. There's a lot of different ways that you can do this. Now, this again is a part that a lot of people seem to neglect. Now, even if it is budgeting, maybe pen and paper, writing it down, using an app that you're going to go ahead and monitor it and really control the budget, or even creating a spending plan that some people call it, just because budget is an old school terminology. But overall, it is taking the accountability of where your money is going. This, honestly, you might not track every single penny, but you have to know the big expenses. When it comes to that need category and really looking at the wants, the need category has to be filled first. And you have to know not only how you're spending, where the money is going to, and where you can cut expenses. This is one of the big things, guys, again, that I wish I knew much earlier. Tracking this, and this was actually part of my master's program when I was going to school for finance, is we sat down in a financial class, just like you're watching here on YouTube. We went through 90 days of spending. So that is right, guys. We broke out 90 days of financial statements for every individual student, listed all the debits, listed the credits, listed the credit cards, the interest rates. We broke it down in such a Barney style systematic approach. Going through the assets, the emergency fund, investment accounts, 401ks, checking, savings. Then we determined long and short-term goal. And this was kind of the eye-opening part. When I looked around the room, and there was about 23 of us present in the room when we were doing this budgeting portion, and looking around the room, guys, people that were wanting to save more into a 401k, yet they didn't have any money. They were literally putting a zero contribution into the 401k. Even though they had an employer match, they weren't putting anything in there. On the same token, they were spending roughly $200 a month on Starbucks. Now, I'm not saying cut out your Starbucks in the entirety, but it was a little bit excessive when you're going to Starbucks once or twice a day, spending $200+ a month. Even if you literally cut that in half and you're putting $100 into your 401k, and then you do have the company match, it really solidified for me what is important. That's really the questions, guys. When you think of budgeting, what is more important to you? Is it working more to make more money, to pay more debt, to be able to travel? Is it working less to spend more time with your family? Pursuing a hobby, looking at a career? Are you looking at a down payment for a home? Are you looking for a new car? All of these things can be budgeted in, and you can really exactly build out the lifestyle that you want by beginning with the question, what is most important to you? When it comes to your finances, what really is it? Number three, guys, saving and investing for the future. Again, this is something that I wish, looking back 20 years, that I could really stress to my younger self, that investing with the compounding interest, with the growth factor, even if you put money away, again, 20 years ago in the S&P 500, it would have grown to exponential levels at this point, guys. Looking at the ETFs, looking at the investment portfolio, the earlier that you begin this, the earlier that you start investing, the more time that you're going to have, again, with that compounding interest. That is the reason why a portion of every single paycheck has to go to saving or paying yourself first, making sure that it is going into a diversified portfolio, whether it is mutual funds, whether it is ETFs, making sure that it is invested in the market for the long time. Now, guys, before we get into number 4, consider subscribing down to the channel and let's continue with this. Number 4, paying off your debt. Again, looking 20 years back at younger me, carrying debt is literally giving away your paycheck. When you think about your regular 9 to 5, if you're working, 30 hours, 40 hours, 50 hours, regardless of what it is, when you're carrying student loans, when you're carrying credit cards, when you have a mortgage, when you have an auto loan, when you start looking at the accumulation of debt, especially as a nation, you look at the interest, you look at the fees, and you look at just how much of a paycheck that is going to paying off your debt. This is massive, guys. You are literally working and spending your time and your life to pay somebody else because you're paying interest on the items that you have. Now, of course, with the debt method, guys, 2 methods that we focus on. Number 1, the snowball method, which is listing it from the lowest balance to the highest balance, systematically locking and knocking out that lowest balance, going all the way to the highest. And then my personal favorite, which I utilized, is the avalanche method. So listing it from your highest rate to the lowest rate. Every single penny is going to that high rate interest, knocking it out systematically first, because you're going to pick up speed and you're getting more benefit from your dollar if you are doing that avalanche method. Now, number 5 comes to education. And again, thinking back years and years ago, guys, reading books, watching YouTube videos, attending webinars, following financial news websites, following financial influencers on social media, learning about budgeting, investing, taxes, retirement planning, investing. There are so many different resources, guys, with the introduction, and I know I'm pretty old saying this, but with the introduction of social media and of course the World Wide Web, you have to be very careful on what you're educating yourself on and make sure that you're using reliable sources. Now, when it comes to a lot of things like tax laws, learning about tax, things of that nature, I know a brief overview, but I leave it to professionals, guys. And I really advise for a majority of people, we'll do the exact same, guys. When you look at, I'm saving $50, $100 by using TurboTax or using something else, guys, get a tax professional. The cost is not that different, but you have someone that you can actually talk to advice and really seek out exactly what you're looking to do. Now, number 6, and again, this is something that younger me would definitely love, diversifying your income. Now, having multiple income sources is a game changer, guys. When I look at my job and then I look at my investment portfolio, which of course has dividend returns, then I look at, dividends that we're getting on CDs that we currently carry. And then I look at the YouTube income and the AdSense revenue, as well as Buy Me a Coffee, M1 Finance, a couple other places, guys. This day and age, you have to diversify your income and you have to do this now. Financial freedom will come much faster. Debt repayment, paying off will come much faster. You can get a side hustle. You can do investments. You can do freelancing. You can do DoorDash. You can do deliveries. There is an exponential amount of earning potential that we probably didn't have 10 or 15 years ago, which is here and now today. So if you're willing to put in the time and effort, you can make a ton of money in a very short amount of time. Now, with that, guys, be very, very cautious. And I have to share this with you guys. Be cautious of the get rich quick schemes. When they're saying, okay, you can make $10,000 a week. I made $100,000 in my first month. Guys, even if that is true, it is so far outside of the normal of what people do in the amount of time and effort that they put into it. You have to be really laser-like focused in and spending an insane amount of time if you ever want to get even a little piece of that return. When you see those videos, and I see them on YouTube all the time, that say if you're investing in this or that, you can make $1 million if you put $5,000 in. Guys, that's not the way it works. As much as I would like to have the pipe dream, money would have no meaning. And of course, nobody would invest anything because they could make $100,000 a month by doing almost nothing. And that is really what a lot of people do sell people on. And the final one, guide, is to spend intentionally. This again is something, what brings you joy, what brings you fulfillment, and what do you want to accomplish in life? They're big questions, guys. And even when I sit down and I do a lot of the financial counseling, when I ask, what are your 3 to 5 year goals? You have to think about that, guys. A majority of people, when it comes to budgeting, when it comes to planning, when it comes to goal planning financially, they have no idea. What is the most important? It's the time taking accountability, doing a little bit of soul searching, and figuring out what is the most important thing to you. Is it the family? Is it your kids going to college? Is it taking vacations? You have to understand your what is most important to you is going to align with your budget, is going to align with your financial goals. That is going to really have an impact when it comes to major purchases, guys. If you're looking at $100,000 house that checks all the boxes when it comes to needs, or are you looking at a $300,000 house that does essentially the same thing, just on a much larger scale? But that also means that what are your plans? What aligns with your goals, and just go for it. Like I said before, guys, you have to really follow your passion, follow your ideal life, really be happy with what you're doing. If you're a person that loves to travel all the time, like I said, then put a lot of money into the travel budget. If you like to go out to eat twice a week, put that into the budget. If it works with your budget, that is the way, guys. I'm not going to say be budget poor forever, but you have to also put it in perspective. Is if you're spending, $3,000 to $5,000 on a trip, and you're just using credit cards to do it, or you're borrowing from your 401k, or you're using resources that are really not allocated for the budget for that trip, you have to keep in mind, guys, eliminating the debt is really priority number one, because once that debt is gone, you will find out very, very quickly that you have the money to go ahead and do what you want to by spending intentionally on the things that are most important to you. So guys, overall, financial planning is super important, and I definitely wanted to cover it. But let me know in the comments what you guys think. What is the most important financial freedom tip that you heard today? And as always, thank you guys for watching.